like to welcome you all to the Thursday, June 23rd, 2022 regular monthly meeting of the Portsmouth City School Board. We now declare this meeting open for business. And I ask you please stand now for a brief moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Ms. Shoemaker. Thank you. Agenda item 3.4, the school board mission statement, will be read by Ms. Shoemaker.
The mission of the Portsmouth Public School Division is to engage all students in the learning that will foster academic excellence and responsible citizenship.
Thank you so much. Agenda item 3.5, attendance. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Atkinson?
Here.
Mrs. Hines?
Present.
Mrs. Shoemake?
Here.
Mrs. Thomas?
Here.
Mr. Tillage?
Here.
Dr. Whitaker?
Here.
Mrs. Williams?
Here.
Dr. Patillo?
Here.
8 members present, 1 member absent.
Thank you so much. Agenda item 3.6, consideration of the agenda for June 23rd, 2022. I entertain a motion at this time.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chair Atkinson, second by Mr. Tillage. Is there any discussion? Thank you. Roll call vote, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Atkinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Hines?
Yes.
Mrs. Shoemake?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Tillage?
Yes.
Dr. Whitaker?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
Dr. Patillo?
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Thank you. One of my favorite portions of the meeting, agenda item 4.1, our student representative report by Mr. Janari Davis. This will be his last report as a student representative. He is a new graduate of IC Norcom High School, and he'll be attending Norfolk State University in the fall. Thank you, sir.
So I didn't write anything. I told Ms. Chambers I was going to wing it tonight and go off my brain.
You gonna wait till the last meeting not to write anything? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon, Chair Dr. Patillo, Vice Chair Atkinson, Dr. Bracy, board members, and all those assembled here this evening. This is my last student representative report of the school year. It has been a long journey, but the time has now come for me to hand the baton to someone else. Where do I start? Ever since I was in 9th grade, I told the school board I wanted to be the student representative. On June 21st, 2020, that dream came true. Since becoming a student representative, I've traveled 4 hours long for track meets, basketball games, wrestling, and everywhere else. Throughout this journey, I just wanted to say thank you to you for y'all putting your trust into me. Helping the students and serving students is one of the biggest things in my mind that I think motivates me to keep doing what I'm doing. You have motivated me to go into education, become an athletic director, superintendent, and everything else. It's just, I honestly don't have words, but this opportunity has been one of the best ones I had in my life. It's just a lot. It's a lot that's going through my mind right now. Having to realize that I have to hang the baton up or pass to someone else. From Portsmouth's finance with Ms. Nolasco and Mr. Brandon, to emailing Ms. Chambers at the last minute of my report, the Wednesday night before, texting Dr. Bracy at 12 o'clock at night, asking questions. I just want to say thank you to everyone, from the school board, administrators, the cabinet, for supporting me throughout my journey since I was in 8th grade, actually. I just want to say thank you, and I will forever remember y'all, whatever I do. I will not be far. I'll be going to Norfolk State, but I'll be back in 3 years to teach.
All right.
Thank you.
Janari, I just want to say that it has been my absolute pleasure to work with you, to watch you grow, to see you make a difference in our school division and our community. I'm honored to say that I know you, and I'm looking forward to you coming back to be a benefit to your city and to your school division. Norfolk State has a jewel coming in the fall, and just remember those purple and gold colors when you get there.
I'm looking at Dr. Bracy.
Do you have any other? Vice Chair Atkinson.
Janari, I just want to say job well done. If anyone in the audience hasn't seen his graduation speech, please watch it. He did A through Z, and it's some jewels in there that not as students they can take in, but as an adult, I would like a copy of that.
Absolutely.
Also, you came in saying you wanted to start an initiative about gun violence and advocating for gun violence, and you did that. And you started with your home school of IC Norcom with the orange. So hopefully we can continue that and have all high schools wear the orange for graduation too. And that's your mark. You said you was going to leave it, and that's your mark. And just congratulations on NSU. Behold the green and gold. Thank you.
Were there any other comments at all from board members? Thank you, sir. Job well done.
Thank you.
Well done. All right, agenda item 5.1 and 5.2 is a public comment for non-agenda items and board agenda items. Madam Clerk, do we have any speakers?
As part of the school division's dedication to full transparency and collaboration in decision-making, the school board of the city of Portsmouth allocates time for public comment at every regular meeting of the month to hear directly from citizens on matters of public concern regarding Portsmouth Public Schools. If you wish to address the school board, you must register with the clerk of the board ahead of the scheduled meeting start time. During public comment, each speaker will have 5 minutes to share their comments with board members. Speakers are not allowed to yield their time to another speaker, and they are not to make any formal resolutions, declarations, or proclamations as part of their comments. Speakers are reminded to maintain decorum and respect while addressing the board. Specifically, no individual, personnel, student, or family should be named in comments, as speakers are at their own risk of violating confidentiality laws and/or defaming the subjects of their comments. Neither the school board, the superintendent, nor school administration will respond publicly to any comments by speakers. A written copy of speakers' comments can be left with the clerk of the board, and any matter requiring a response will be directed to the superintendent and school administration to address as needed. As the board opens to public comment, the audience is asked to be respectful of all speakers. Mr. Merrill Rutledge.
Mr. Merle Rutledge.
Okay. Ms. Stephanie Liverman.
Hi. Good evening, Dr. Bracy, Chair, and the rest of the school board members. It's been a long time since I've been up before y'all, so I'm a little bit nervous. But this is a subject I'm very passionate about. To be able to limit it to 5 minutes is the challenge, because I could probably talk to you for a half hour. But I'm hoping to hit the points that I need to. The word that's been on my mind for years and that I've cared deeply about is trauma. It's a small word, but it has so many implications, astronomical implications, sometimes deadly results for our children. Years ago, I came before y'all and talked about ACEs, Adverse Childhood Experiences. This is a simple questionnaire of 10 questions describing the child's home life before they turn 18. And instead of going into all of the things, I'm going to highly urge every single one of you to look at the TED Talk from Nadine Burke-Harris. She's a pediatrician, and she's now Surgeon General in California. And she also has a multi-million-dollar child wellness center there. It's a TED Talk on childhood trauma. It's 16 minutes long. It changed the course of my life when I heard it 4 years ago. So I thought I was out of this game. I came and talked. I talked to everyone I knew. I found a few very good collaborators, but I just couldn't get the action behind it that we needed. It seems like it's such a huge astronomical thing to do or to learn about. But once you have the basic knowledge of it, The steps to implement the training is very easy. About a month ago, Virginia Organizing had a forum on mental illness and mindfulness. I could barely sit in my seat when Coach Jensen Baker, got up to speak about a mindfulness program he's been using in his classroom since 2009. I wanted to scream. I wanted to shout hallelujah. I could not believe it that somebody in Portsmouth was actually implementing this program. Last year at Churchland Academy, they instituted a specific software program called Inner Explorer that spends 5 minutes a day with these children. And at the end, he's got all the data to back up. And I know someone's going to speak later on that data, so I'm not going to go into it. But it's proven effective in working to calm classroom behaviors. If you talk to any teacher in Portsmouth now, probably their number one issue is behaviors. Because kids who are traumatized or who live with trauma in their life, if they have an adverse childhood experience in their life, then the mind, the amygdala, it's the lizard brain that everyone's heard about now, it flips out. They're literally not connected to the thinking, reasoning portion of their brain. What mindfulness does is it helps them to calm down and center themselves. And they respond to situations instead of reacting. We see what's happening in the streets. These kids are reacting to their situations. They don't know how to respond in a healthy manner to it. If this is taught at the beginning, it becomes a practice. You can just do small steps repeatedly, consistently, and over time, it will make a difference. There's no doubt about it. The proof is there. You can research any scientific study on this. The proof is there. We have an opportunity now in Portsmouth Public Schools to spend $2,000 per school. So we look at the cost of implementing this in 20 schools. I checked out the budget online. For the 22-23, I think it was $157 million. The amount of money it will cost to implement this program in 20 schools winds up being 0.02% of the school budget. That would be like, for me, with a $2,000 a month budget, would I spend 40 cents a month to save a child's life? You bet your butt I would. Definitely. It's a no-brainer. Please, I heard that y'all might be looking at this at the retreat, that it's on the agenda. Don't just look, yes, definitely look into it. Do due diligence. But guys, this is a no-brainer. We start this with our kids. I have no doubt in my mind that it will save lives. It will save lives. We would not be, if we had instituted this 4 years ago, I sincerely believe we wouldn't be in the situation we are now. I know every single one of us are tired of crying for these kids. This is something that is so very simple and easy to do. Contact Coach Jensen. Don't believe me, believe him. I don't care who you believe. Just get it going. Thank you. I can't say, in fact, there's 100 things I didn't say on my notes, but I don't care. Please, I beg you, act now. Don't just think about it. Don't just research. Don't waste time talking about it. Get it done, please, for our kids' future. I beg you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Devlin.
Mr. Sergio Neal.
Good afternoon, school board members. My name is Sergio Neal. I'm here on behalf of the Portsmouth Chapter of Virginia Organizing. On June the 8th, the Portsmouth Chapter of Virginia Organizing held a mental health forum. Thanks to Vice Chair Lakeisha Atkinson for attending. At the forum, we had various speakers who highlighted the importance of mindfulness in schools and the positive impacts that mindfulness can have on the brain. We had a social worker, Angel Blunton, Coach Jensen Baker, and an all too familiar Miss Tyrann Green, who was a parent of a Portsmouth Public School student and a board member of Virginia Organizing. They all talked about the importance of mental health and mindfulness. I'm sure you all have heard of Coach Jensen Baker. He had his program at Churchland Academy. At the forum, he presented data from surveys he handed out at the end of the year. Here are some of the things that he found. Half of teachers said mindfulness was new to them. 83% found that mindfulness as a teaching tool helps control anger. 95% thought it led to positive behavior changes, and 100% thought it was helpful to students when taking tests. Ms. Liverman already alluded to the fact of the numbers as far as budgetary items. I think 0.02% of a budget to implement this in the school system is a highly recommended expenditure in order to save a life of a student or students. And then again, we have heard that this will be talked about at the school board retreat. We greatly appreciate you all for taking this matter up. I would like to implore all of you to really deep dive into the situation that we have with our students and the trauma that they are facing. And I hope that I know that all of you all will be working with our city council as to see, as a partnership in addressing the trauma that our children are facing. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, sir. I would like to, Mr. Neal, I'm sorry. And you come back up, but before Ms. Thomas goes out, I do want to say I apologize. I did just read an email from Megan that she sent me yesterday, and I'll definitely be willing to meet with you on that. And we all appreciate the work of Mr. Baker. I believe he's recently retiring now, but he's actually coming to do some mindfulness techniques for my Head Start program in Virginia Beach over the summer. So I definitely believe in his work, and we will be discussing this at the retreat to see how it could possibly benefit the school division as a whole. Ms. Thomas.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Mr. Neal, thank you so much for your passionate presentation. Also, Ms. Liverman for your presentation. Vice Chair Atkinson, she definitely came back and spoke really highly about that event you all held to kind of bring forth mindfulness and about what Coach Baker was doing. And you mentioned, I think, Ms. Liverman, about that ACEs test, and several of us on the board, when we've taken that test, because two other Portsmouth Public School staff members were selected to give a presentation at one of our school board conferences under CUBE, and they provided that test to the participants in their presentation to show how trauma impacts students and how it could impact learning as part of a program that they had implemented at Brighton Elementary School. So you have a board that's on board, I believe, with hearing some of these terms in the ACEs test, and thank you so much for coming to speak about it. I look forward to discussing even further at our school board retreat.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Malcolm Evans.
Good evening, Dr. Gracie, Vice Chair, and everybody on the panel.
Good evening, sir.
My name is Malcolm Evans. I'm a citizen of Portsmouth, Virginia. My son attends Manor High School. I have some Manor High School parents, basketball players, and we're concerned about the situation that happened probably about 5:21 this evening on the firing of the head coach at Manor High School, a gentleman by the name of Gerald Andrews, and we're really concerned about it. And let me read this letter real quick.
Sir, can I remind you that personnel matters are confidential, disciplinary matters are confidential, so just remind you that the clerk's comments at the beginning should be adhered to. So if you keep your comments general, that would probably be best for the current.
You might have to let me know. But anyway, Coach Gerald Andrews, known as Coach Drews, has been. I'm sorry?
Mr. Evans, we do want to hear you. If you can refrain from stating like any employee names, and if you want to just say coach, that would be great. We want to protect everyone that's involved. And
My message ain't gonna get out. The Manor High School coach, known as Coach, has been teaching at Wilson Manor for 8 years with no violations or write-ups. On Friday, June 17th, 2022 at 2:15, Coach was sent a text asking if he was still at Manor. At that time, Coach was gone and called to see what was wrong, only to be informed that he was no longer the head coach, boys varsity coach. Coach's record for coaching years 2019 to 2021 was this past year was 19-7, and as a matter of fact,
Order. It's too specific for personnel.
We do understand your concern, and I understand where you're coming from. Just when it comes to personnel matters, we can't be too specific because it is a personnel matter in someone's employment that's being referenced.
what am I supposed to be talking about?
If you can keep it as in general as possible, maybe not stating the actual job duties and definitely names. I know it's difficult, and I do understand.
I mean,
Sir, you could submit your comments,
Right.
your specific comments to the board for review, and you could keep your public comments more general if you'd like to do that. That may be a middle ground if you're willing to do that.
I'm trying to keep it general. I'm not mentioning his name. I mean, can I not mention that he coaches? Because I'll take that out.
No, you can mention he coaches, but not specifically what he coaches. I know it's difficult, and
We'll try.
we do want to hear you, but and you can actually email us and give us your actual comments
Yeah,
so
but
we can read it, but we just don't want to say it in public.
We thought it necessary that we see the people that we elected. I personally remember you. I remember you came to 1804 when you were campaigning. So
Right.
I thought it would be only fair to this body of people that we come to the people that we elected.
Yes, sir, and I do appreciate you and want to hear you. It's not about me. I just want to make sure we protect even the individual you're referencing, and I want to protect his rights as well, being that it's a personnel matter.
All right, let's try it again. I'm sorry?
We want.
The reasons? Yeah, I'm gonna get it. I can do that?
As long as it's general with who you're referring to, yes, sir.
Chair, I was going to say, can we extend his time? Because I think his time is,
That's not a problem.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. 2 years ago, I'm part of the Manor family. We won a state championship. The school hadn't been to a state championship in 65 years. He's exhibited extraordinary leadership, organizational skills, and he's been a pillar for these kids at Manor High School that need it. We know what goes on and the tragedy that happened pertaining to a student at the school, and he was the glue that held those kids together. And for us to see this happen when no blemishes or anything on his record is just devastating to the community. And we just feel like that the city of Portsmouth, we don't need any more, bad stuff to go down. All the kids, we got players and parents that took their time, took out their schedule to come here just because that's how much, we really feel that he needs to be in that position. And it would be devastating. Kids are talking about not going to that school coming in September because his presence isn't going to be there. And, so can't be his leadership skills. I don't know what person that doesn't have leadership skills wins a state championship. I don't know what individual wins 19-7 and doesn't have organizational skills. It's too much talent in this area. It just don't happen by chance. You have to have leadership and organizational skills. I personally have a son that's on the basketball team. He's been working with my son personally since he was in the 6th grade. And I'm not talking just basketball. I'm talking, we'll come by the house, make sure he's doing his schoolwork. And not only my son, a lot of the kids.
Right.
He's got kids that have gone all state, kids that have gone all region, going to VSU, ODU. And, you know, so he's really doing a lot for the kids of Portsmouth. I think it'd be a travesty if that should happen to him. We just wanted you guys to hear us. You know.
And I would personally appreciate if you would actually send me what you have in detail.
I will.
So I can get it, and I promise you I will respond back to you. But the concerns, we have been hearing them, concerns in reference to what you're speaking of. So we'll make sure we get that to the superintendent as we receive them.
Yeah.
But I really would appreciate it if you would send me
I will.
what it is you have.
I'll send it. I'll get your email, Dr. Bracy. And I just ending on this note, I just really wish you guys would really look into it.
Yes, sir.
Because it would really be devastating to the students and the players of Manor basketball.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming, and all the parents. Thank you. All right, there were no more speakers. Agenda item 6 is consent agenda items 6.1 through 6.15. I'll entertain a motion for consent agenda items at this time.
Move for approval.
Motion made by Ms. Hines, second by Ms. Shoemake. Do we have any discussion on any of those items? Ms. Hines.
Thank you. You knew I was gonna raise my hand on that one. There's one on here that has been, my talking point. So Mr. Falk, you know which one I'm gonna ask about. It's about the rezoning. And so, when you look at the contract, it states in here that we won't start, with the rezoning until June of, I'm sorry, I need a microphone. Sorry, I got the wall was beating at me, I'm sorry. June of 2023, is that correct? And so can you just kind of walk us through what's gonna happen this year, with the contract
Yes, ma'am.
and the respondent? Thank you.
Obviously, with the contract being, if it's approved tonight, the first thing we would do is obviously engage the contractor. Normally, what they would do is have some type of entrance meeting with all the parties to make sure we analyze and make sure that the scope of work is what we have it, what documentation they would need from us, make sure they meet staff, know who the players are. And then from there, the process would go from there. So I can't tell you, well, yeah, it's gonna take this many days or this many months. But the first step is to have that entrance interview to make sure that we're all on the same page with what the board wants to see, what administration wants to see, and what the contractor is engaging us and telling us they will do.
Okay, so we're talking about parent meetings as well, community meetings within
ma'am.
this,
Yes, ma'am.
before we even draw the first line.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And they obviously would have to get documentation from us from routing and all of our zoning and so on and so forth to be able to start those maps and things of that nature. But yes, a number of parent meetings, community citizen meetings would be involved in this.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Any other discussion? Ms. Thomas.
Yes, for the, I just had it, for the cooperative contract for NNPS to use some of their services. One of the contracts, I guess, was for locker maintenance at Manor High School. And I just had a general question about, are we planning on just doing, is that just for like a paint rebranding for those lockers? Or is that like complete, like new lockers, new install?
This would be at Manor, because obviously we made all the changes at Manor with color schemes and so on and so forth. We did not do the lockers last year, so what we're doing is we're gonna take those lockers out and replace them with new lockers. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so a complete replacement?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Hines.
Thank you. I was hoping that somebody would be here to kind of review the Student Code of Conduct Handbook that we're supposed to vote on with this consent. There is nothing listed in board docs to review. Are there any major changes within the Student Code of Conduct Handbook that we should be aware of as a board?
Dr. Cromartie?
I'm not aware of any substantive changes to the document. I had a conversation with Dr. Sandelin about it week before last, and she did not bring anything substantive to my attention.
Okay.
I guess I'm gonna ask the board, would you rather see the handbook first before doing this? Okay.
I would prefer, when I didn't see any, I'm sorry, let me do this, be proper. When I didn't see anything in board docs, I was hoping there would be a presentation or at least an overview, red line maybe, you know, like we get something from VSBA or something. But if possible, can we take out the Student Code of Conduct Handbook until we have been, because that is our signature on it. I would like to review any pertinent information on that.
Yeah, what I was gonna recommend is that if we can table it now and we can bring it to the retreat and vote on it possibly at the retreat.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll just ask this time if you can remove your current motion and then make a motion striking
Okay.
6.5.
Chair, I'd like to remake a motion to approve all the consent agenda items with the exception of 6.5, which is the Code of Student Conduct Handbook. If we can table that until retreat.
Motion made by Ms. Hines and second by Ms. Axon. Discussion?
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I wanted to circle back that question about the locker replacement. Do we know, like, even currently, what the percentage of students even use lockers right now before we start replacing lockers and spending the money there? Can we, like, I don't know, I would think we should consider, if we're actually taking the lockers out, can we maybe do a survey or just kind of come back to that vote as well before we spend the money to replace something that might not be fully utilized currently?
Just so I understand, you want to remove the contract for the lockers?
Can we table that till we get a better idea of what was the current usage of lockers even this past school year?
Okay, and I just want to make sure I'm correct. We were trying to approve this now in order to use current year appropriation.
Yes, sir.
So by removing this contract now means we would not be able to use the money that's currently appropriated until June 30th to do this. Ms. Williams.
I think if the school put in for the lockers, and we're trying to make sure it's done so we can use these year-end funds, I would hate to have us remove it now. I think we should move forward with it.
Dr. Bracy.
I met with Dr. Johnson earlier this week, and we talked about some of the CIP projects that are taking place at Manor this summer, and we talked about lockers specifically. And every student doesn't use a locker. Some students do. So it's not that they can't utilize them, but everyone is not assigned a locker unless they've asked for a locker. So I don't think with the replacement, you know, we have, let's say, 1,400 students at Manor. I don't believe there'll be 1,400 lockers there as well. So it will be enough for those that typically use them. Yeah.
Okay, no, oh, sorry. Sorry, thanks, Chair. I don't want to not utilize funds that have been appropriated. I didn't know if there was another appropriation we could make for those funds. But again, if the contract's already been written, I just wanted to throw that out there for consideration. If there is a better use of that funds other than replacing lockers that might not be fully utilized to their full potential right now for that school. But.
Vice Chair Atkinson.
Thank you, Chair. And to piggyback on what Board Member Thomas said, I think I don't mind voting on it to approve the lockers for right now, but what I've been hearing is that the students are not allowed to use lockers. So, and this is across the board, so I think we need to follow up on what's happening with the lockers. Are students not being assigned lockers unless they request it? And this is in the middle school and the high school, so we need to figure out what's going on with the lockers.
Okay, I just want to be clear that if we approve this contract, we're buying lockers. I don't want to tell you that they're going to look into it. It's June 23rd, and money has to be encumbered, by June 30. So if we're going to move on and vote on this, we're going to vote yes or no. If it's yes, they're going to buy the lockers. If no, then they're not buying them, and we probably won't use those funds. So I just want to make it clear, so I don't want y'all leaving with a misunderstanding or anything. Because the staff won't say it like that, but I'm letting y'all know that if we vote yes, they're buying those lockers tomorrow. So, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Chair. Okay, with that being said, yes, I'm comfortable with not tabling it for tonight to vote on it, but for consideration for future funds, I think we should look at the current design of some of our schools and how we're utilizing certain areas and spaces for better usage in the future.
Thank you, and I do encourage everyone that the staff, they have provided us with a CIP list that they want to spend funds on, so please take a look at that list, and then if there's anything you want to have looked into further, please email and let them know for that. Before we vote on this item, I do want to recognize, you will notice under the consent agenda 6.4 is we're voting on a student representative and an alternate to the school board. And we have both of them here tonight. I thought only one was going to make it, but they both showed up. So I want to introduce to you our new student representative would be Miss Nashara Akins. Come forward, Nashara. And our board representative will be Miss Janaya Cooper. I'm sorry, I just told you going to walk aimlessly. I'm sorry. I just want to say that Vice Chair and I, we had the extreme honor to interview both of these young ladies. They are dynamic. They have great communication skills. They're definitely going to be powerful young women in the future, and they're powerful young ladies now. And I believe we're honored as a board to have them serve with us, and their input will be valuable to us. And we're looking forward to what they're going to bring to the table. And are their parents here?
Yes, and they can come forward and get some good pictures if you like.
Come
on up.
Mom, you come on take a picture. I asked now Nashara now if you would like to say anything.
Yes. Is this on? Okay.
Yes, it is.
I'm really excited to start. I have a lot of things in mind. I'm pretty sure Janaya does too. We've talked about it. So I'm just really excited to start making some change in the schools and the city all around.
Thank you.
Nice.
I'm very honored to be chosen as an alternate, and I'm glad Nashara is with me too.
All right. And both of these young ladies are eager to leave their mark. We talked about initiatives and things they could bring to the table that's near and dear to their hearts. So we're really looking forward to that and working closely with them. And we want to thank their parents for being here as well. And thank y'all for doing such a wonderful job raising wonderful young ladies. And we're happy to have you all aboard. Thank you.
Mom, come around front. Come up front. Yep. Get a picture of them behind there. That's your good news. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a photo bomb.
Good for you. You better take a picture. I remember voting. Y'all get the- There you go. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Atkinson,
Yes.
Dr. Cotton,
Yes.
Mrs. Hines,
Yes.
Mrs. Schumate,
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Tillage,
Yes.
Dr. Whitaker,
Yes.
Mrs. Williams,
Yes.
Dr. Patillo.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Thank you. Agenda item 7.1 is the monthly report, curriculum and instruction. Dr. Nguyen.
Good evening, Chairman Patillo, Vice Chairman Atkinson, members of the board, and Dr. Bracy. It is with great pleasure that I give you the final 2021-22 curriculum and instruction report, which is filled with many wonderful things that our students have been participating in throughout this month. In addition to that, we have a highlight this month from our career and technical education program. And so Mr. Craig Hill is here, and he will provide that for you.
Good evening, Chairman Dr. Patillo,
evening.
school board members, and Dr. Bracy. First of all, I'd like to start off with an overview, if I can, of the CT program. We prepared a video that I'm going to get you to put your attention on to now, if you would. Your career and technical education back when I was in high school was called vocational education. It wasn't elaborate as it is today. So over the last 20-some years, we have evolved from a shop class and a home ec class in each school to programs now that from the wide range of technology classes, trades classes, with whether it's welding, cosmetology, nail tech, childcare, culinary.
The thing I like most is that it's not just learning in the classroom. You get to be active and actually, like what we did today with learning forensics and stuff, dealing with fingerprints. That's definitely a good part about this class that I really enjoyed.
Simple core classes, they just teach you things that they think that you need to know. Entrepreneurship education actually helps you with your future, with your actual life and your career, helps you build a career. It's one of those career classes.
Not only are we offering programs that lead to career pathways, we offer credentials that the students are able to obtain before they graduate. In a total of all of our programs, we had over 1,200 certifications that students earned this past spring. Portsmouth is kind of unique in that it's a small area geographically. So we can move students around from different high schools that we maybe have programs that are in, say, Manor, Norcom, or Churchland. We outnumber a lot of other school districts, and while they had a lot of our programs, the size of the programs was not as big as ours. We actually have a $1.3 million culinary program that we put over at Manor High School about 15 years ago. It's amazing when you go and see something, and then when you come back home and how much you appreciate what you have in your own district. We have all these things here where students are able to take advantage of. So are there some avenues and things that we want to improve and add? Of course.
I've never really used like the big mixers, which is a lot of fun because they're different. I've never used like a conventional oven, so that's different. Pastry blenders, never used a pastry blender before, and it's made me realize I'd actually wanted to do this for a long time. After I graduated, I've always wanted to go to culinary school, and then I've always wanted to own my own bakery.
But ever since I was little, I've been interested in hair, and doing my own hair, it made me found more passion for it. Well, my plan is to open a salon in multiple areas across the country.
But what we have are opportunities for students to go into any career path that they choose. And when you have opportunities, the sky's the limit. The exclamation is, what are you going to do after high school? And we're trying to provide some of those exclamation points. Wow, that's a hard guy to follow, but I'm going to try. Tonight, I would like to share some of the successes in career and technical education and dual enrollment this past year. Our CTE programs provide students with the academic and technical skills, knowledge, and training necessary to succeed in future careers
and develop skills they will use throughout their life. Portsmouth Public Schools offers students a variety of career choices ranging from barbering, childcare, CNA, cosmetology, culinary, cybersecurity, horticulture, nail tech, pharmacy tech, public safety, sports medicine, technology, TV production, welding, and other state-of-the-art programs. This past year, our teachers carried out their mission and passion in preparing over 6,000 CTE and DE students for rewarding careers in these programs. Please allow me to thank all the CTE teachers and staff for their hard work in providing quality instruction and experiences. Tonight, let's celebrate some of the achievements in the CTE and dual enrollment programs. First of all, I would like to start off with our advisory board that won the Excellent Award for recognizing exemplary CTE programs. I can't think of a better way to start tonight. This recognition was an award winning for our CTE advisory board for winning the region and state award. This makes the first time that the Portsmouth Public Schools CTE department has ever won the state award. And it marks the second in 3 years that they won the region award. I'm so proud of them, and I'm so glad that they're getting the recognition of all the collaboration and hard work they do with local industries in preparing our students. You may have seen this article in the paper or even on the news. Our students learning about the wind energy industry. Most of all of our welding students and other trade and industry students prepared and got ready and went on a tour of the Portsmouth Marine Terminal, which is the future that they're offering over here, the first and the only wind turbine coating plant. Thousands of our well-paying jobs and family-raising careers will be created out of this, and we think that it's a great pipeline for our students, and we want to make sure that we're preparing them and they're aware of this happening. So we took them all on this tour, and when they came back, they were excited and they really wanted to get involved. And most of all the students said, wow, I didn't realize that engineering jobs and accountant jobs and welding, all of those jobs are going to be created from this type of industry. It's not just when people think of wind industry, they think of the turbines. It's all of the other jobs that are created by that one field. So we're trying to tap into all of that. Thanks. Continuing on with the demand in manufacturing careers, the Go Tech program is the start of that pipeline. Piloting this in our career investigation course in the middle schools will provide students with the opportunities to learn all about and explore manufacturing careers. We're offering a summer camp this year, July 13th and 14th over at Starbase for our 4th and 6th graders. We're also going to be offering at our girls club on July the 15th. If you notice on the screen that big Go Tech bus, they actually bring it here and you go on the bus and you participate in all of these manufacturing precision type machinery. And on July the 16th at the farmers market, I'm sending an invitation to each and every one of you if you could come out that Saturday and try to see who's the best welder on the board and see who can lay that bead down the best. So put that on your calendar if you would, please. Thanks. Well, we all know that Karen Roberts, our Manor High School student, we've heard that name before. She's been in front of the board. She's always diligent about competition, and she did it again. She won the state competition, the FCCLA, and she's going to San Diego with her students. I'll admit this is probably the most expensive trip that I've ever signed off on, but it's going to be worth and priceless to those students. I won't say the amount, but it's exciting. The kids are excited. They're going to be competing in interpersonal communication and career investigation events, and we're excited to hopefully tell you about how they won maybe later in the summer. This next one is about building trades. And no, this isn't Dr. Bracy moonlighting, doing a job in the evenings. Actually, what Dr. Bracy was doing, though, he was on a forklift learning about the Skilled Trades Center over at TCC. We visited that center, and we realized that there's some opportunities for seniors next year in the spring. Seniors that are 18 that have not decided on any kind of career path, they have the half of the day free, they don't need an extra credit or any kind of credit, can attend this facility. We will pay the tab, and they can come out of there with a credential and also the opportunity to interview for jobs and get the exposure to the different employers. So we think this is a great little fit for those students that haven't really found their niche yet for whatever reason that has been kind of lost. So we're really excited about doing this in the spring of next year. We continued our road trip up to the Isle of Wight, and when we went there, we visited a lot of the CTE different programs they had. One of them that we were impressed with was the Building Trade Center, where they did the carpentry and the bricklaying and electrical and those types of things. And as you can see, the school board members was in the tiny home that the actual students there for Isle of Wight had built this facility. We were really impressed with it. I think these ladies were even thinking about maybe buying it at the time because it was for sale, but I'm not sure that happened. But it was very exciting to see that. The teacher there had a lot of passion, and we left there kind of with a wow factor of that part of the trip. Next one. Last year when I came in front of the board at the elementary school, you gave me a charge to make sure that we promote our programs on our website. Well, I'm proud to say we did that. We decided to go in there and highlight every pathway possible. And I'd like to take this moment to thank our public schools chief communications officer, Lauren. Where's Lauren at? I think she's around here somewhere. There she is over there. Lauren Nolasco and her team of Annette Herbert and Brandon Mitchell. And by the way, Brandon Mitchell, thank you for the editing on that video of me and getting me on my best side of that last one. But as you can see here on the slide, we have the CTE pathways. Every one of those pathways that I've mentioned tonight and the videos mentioned and the board has asked about, a student can click on that, see a brief 2 to 3 minute video, and also learn about certifications. So there's the chance for them to be aware of everything that we offer currently. And then there's other sites that they can also go to. So we think that this is going to be a great tool to bring awareness to the public of what we're offering. These next few slides, I just want to remind the board that we were awarded again the Claude Moore Scholars Grant. This grant provides local school systems with grant funds to establish healthcare education programs for high school students that will meet local, regional, and statewide workforce needs. Chesapeake, Isle of Wight, and Portsmouth are the 3 schools that are involved in that. And if you remember, it will develop a patient care technician. We currently have the CNA, the pharmacy tech, and also emergency medical technician. This will just add to that. In the year, we're hoping this fall of 2023 to have the patient tech, and then again, they will pay for that teacher. So we're excited to continue to be part of that. And then this last one with the CTE is regarding our industry credentials. Last year, as we all know, that year that we had, the state waived all credentials for students. So we were a little worried this year when they came back how involved they would be and how much they would really put into it. And we were pleasantly surprised that we had over 1,200 students pass the certification this last year. So we had all of our seniors get out that needed it with a standard diploma, and we also had some additional stackable credentials. So that was a good news to see. Now, let's switch gears if we can for a moment. Dual enrollment still had challenges with majority virtual learning classes. Interacting with students on a daily basis with the Portsmouth DE office is hard to replace with a Zoom. In-person interaction with students as they bridge the gap from high school to college is so important. Additionally, providing the support and resources they need face-to-face is vital to the success and participation in the program. Even with these obstacles, our partnership with Tidewater Community College had many successes, and I would like to share a few of those tonight. The first one is our early college. As you can see, the program continues to grow. We had our maximum number this year of 114 students from 9th through 12th grade, and that's the most we've ever had. And we're like to see those numbers continue to grow, which we think they will. The next slide shows our first college academy, which is still seeing some effects from the virtual learning and also the COVID that we had over the last 2 years. And if you notice, the numbers went down again. We're at 151 this year. However, There's always a bright side to every little cloud, right? And this bright side is we've already got projected numbers for next year, and it's 188 students for next year. That would be 112 at Churchland, 44 at Manor, and 32 at IC Norcom. And if you look back on the chart, that'll get you back to where we were pre-COVID. So it seemed to right itself, and along with the numbers with early college, the dual enrollment program seems to be maxing out to where we want it to be. This next slide, and I'm going to say these next few slides, can't think of a better way to end a presentation. The first one here is the Governor's Medallion recipients. And remember, those are students that earned an associate's degree before a diploma. And I always like to repeat that because it sounds so good, and it is so good. These students finished and got their associate's degree in May and walked across and got their diploma in June. And it was all paid for, basically, by all the hard work you do. And I want to thank you for that. And I also like to do this little number, and I did it last year, and it was kind of a hit, so I figured I would do it again this year. I asked TCC, tell me a little bit about Chesapeake and Virginia Beach and their numbers. And if you remember last year, they had 12 that got through it, and I think Chesapeake did, and Virginia Beach had 23. Well, yes, Chesapeake and Virginia Beach have bigger school systems. They have more high schools, and they have more students. But they don't have more Governor's Medallion winner recipients, I can tell you that. Portsmouth had 26, and this year Chesapeake had 2, and Virginia Beach had 19. So yes, applause to those students. And then this last 2 slides, I really want to give a shout out to Allison Wilson. I'm sure all of you are aware of her from Churchland. She was the guest speaker at the TCC graduation, and we are so proud of her. Of all the students that they could have picked to talk at the graduation, they picked one of our early college students, and that really made us feel good, and she did us proud. I was there at the commencement, and she was really, really good, so you would be proud of her. And then the next slide here is just a collaboration and a shout out to all the students that are in the program, early college, first college, dual enrollment program. They work really hard. We've had some hard times the last couple years, but they continue to shine and show us and make us all proud. And then finally, I want to thank you. I would like to thank you because without your encouragement, without your support, none of this would happen in the CTE programs or the dual enrollment program. So I applaud you. Thank you. And let's have questions.
Thank you, sir. We have a few. It was, I believe, Mr. Tillage, Ms. Hines, and Dr. Cotton.
Thank you, Mr. Hill, for that great presentation.
Thank you.
I tell people all the time, Portsmouth Public Schools, you can say what you want to say about us, but we do produce excellent students, excellent results, and there is really no reason not to be able to get an education in Portsmouth Public Schools. So I thank you for your efforts and for being able to put what all 9 board members have said into action. I think it is great.
Thank you.
Also, I want to speak in regards to the offshore wind with the Wednesday campaign. Being able to introduce these students to this new industry is phenomenal. And it's going to be something that's going to be not only a couple of year economic development, but a generational economic development stimulant for the entire state of Virginia. And for it to be housed in Portsmouth is phenomenal. And so I'm glad to see that you all have taken that approach to be able to partner with the port and with Dominion Energy and Siemens Gamesa as they work to build out this offshore wind project. I was also glad, Dr. Nguyen, to see the grant that was put together for the wind turbine for IC Norcom High School that will allow 5th, 6th, and 7th graders to be able to start a pipeline into the CTE programs. I think that's phenomenal. Also, GoTech. I visited GoTech in Danville, and your name was being circulated around there, as have been.
Hopefully good.
Very good, very good. They were very.
I was able to get out of Danville. It was a close night there.
Yes, it was very, very good reports, and you know how you've been asking questions, how to implement things here, and kudos to you for being miles ahead of that and bringing that bus here this summer. And I'm looking very forward to seeing that as far as advanced manufacturing. My last point is the video. I thought your video was phenomenal. I think it would be really great to be able to put that on social media because a lot of people said they just don't know what Portsmouth has to offer. So if we can have that video shared, of course, promoting the website as well, because we really have no reason for any student to be able to say that they cannot get an education here in Portsmouth Public Schools. So thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hill, good to see you.
Good to see you. It's been a while.
This has been a smiley, always a smiley event between you and I, because we know what these kids are doing and what we're putting them through. I wanted to give kudos for communication with our high school students to keep them interested, keeping them engaged, but also letting them know what that track is, because for 3 or 4 years, as Mr. Tillage said as he was closing, people can't say that they don't know. And so with that being said, people can't say that they don't know that now. Our numbers are showing that, is that we're having the conversation and the constant conversation, even through COVID, with students and with parents about their opportunities and about the needs to hit that. So I wanted to give you and Dr. Nguyen that kudos, because that has been, the repetitive piece on this one. So with the repetitive piece coming on this one, with the new TCC for those seniors in the afternoons, we need to make sure that we're pushing that down to the students so that they know that that is an opportunity for them as well, to keep that pipeline of information pushing, and I think it's wonderful. And the other piece I want to add to this is, are there any ways that we can get any internships for our students? The same way that we're sending students to TCC. Yeah, we used to call it the co-op, So is there a way that we can get co-op credits for some of these? Because once you go through them as a sophomore and a junior, senior year, you fall out of a track because there's no place else for you to go. So I would like to see maybe that third step is an internship so our students have somewhere that they can go for that. So just, in the drop in the bucket and kind of as we plan forward, because I know you're a 5 and a 7 year planner outer guy. How can we get that with some of our business partners to do those old I'm going to say the old co-op, but I don't know what we would call it today.
Yeah, the co-op, the COE workers and all those,
right.
with the internships.
Okay.
And I would like to add also with the Go Tech and all of that, we're planning on having the guidance counselors go this summer to go visit the TCC skill trades, so they will be aware of what's there, and then they can help promote it in the
And I will
school.
tell you, as a teacher who teaches for an academy, to be able to go and to do the fire hoses and to get on the trucks and to do the EMT stuff and to have lunch in the house with the firemen, that just speaks volumes, and that experience just, it resonates with you and it makes it come more alive. And so that leads me to my last point is, I see that we have EMT on here.
Yes.
At one time we had Fire 1 and 2, and I know that was taught through TCC. Has there been any discussion about bringing Fire 1 and 2 so that we can pipeline some of our students into careers here in Portsmouth to get, I don't want to use the term shared service, but if we can, to go along with that EMT certification, to do the fire certifications 1 and 2, to create a pipeline for our students to have, a $50,000 job. I had a student graduate this year, he had a $56,000 offer from Hampton Fire because he had gone through all of those certifications. And so as you were talking about that life-changing, family raising money, it's not just minimum wage jobs, it is establishing yourself, so I would like to see us look and work towards that as well. So
yeah, and the public safety, which we brought on this last year, was that pipe way to start it. And also in the video, if you noticed, the young man that was talking about the fire safety and the public safety, he's like a 3rd, 4th generation fireman right here in Portsmouth. So they've all asked about that, so we're looking into it.
all right, thank you so much, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. Thank you to the fellow board members who have been pushing for the enhancement of the CTE program. But I just want to thank you on the job that you're doing. Myself, being a past student at Norcom from 91 to 95, taking up building trade under Coach Herman Terry. Even though I didn't go in that career path, I'm just thankful that it's offered, and also that sort of journeyman credentials will be added, because you leave with the skill, but we didn't have the credentials at the time. But I look forward to working with you even covering a couple possible areas that are very essential to the world we live in now. And I also was going to say something about getting this information out, but Board Member Tillage has already spoken of it, because hearing from the citizens, they were saying things like, we need trade, have no trades and things of that nature. So getting this information out, helping them understand that it is out there, but it's now called career and technical education. So I'm just thankful that you're doing what you're doing, because they have this pathway, crossroads that they have to go across, either career or college. And I see that Portsmouth, we're putting them out to go either way, and I'm just thankful for it.
And you just missed me, because I started at Northam in 95. And so you probably knew Mr. Leathers and Nick and all of them guys. Yes, sir.
I left in 95.
Yeah.
Ms. Shumate.
Mr. Hill, again, I want to say thank you. I know I am 100% worrisome with all of the things that I bring to your attention, but I will say that you take it all in stride, and you also come back with some great information, and not just information. You do implement a lot of the things that I bring to your attention. I also want to thank Dr. Nguyen, because when I first started on the board, I brought up the communication and the collaboration with the city, specifically the EMS and all of that, and you did that. I know there's a piece where the city has to come into play as well when it comes to the funding, so I know you've been working on that. So I just want to say thank you to you all for hearing our concerns and actually doing something about a lot of the issues that we hear within our community. I know one of the things that I brought up to you a few years ago was changing or updating the website. You did that. Another thing was getting the communication out to the community. We know that is a struggle. And I know oftentimes when you send us stuff, I try to upload it and put it on my page as well, but it is a bit of a struggle, because we do consistently get we don't know what's being offered, and we're not sure what's going on, but we do have that information readily available. So if anybody has any questions or concerns about CTE, please go on our website. Please talk to your school counselors. They should have the information. Mr. Hill is always available to speak about some of the concerns if you're not getting that information, or if you have an idea. A lot of times, we may not have all of the answers, and you may have an idea that hasn't come to their attention. He is always open for new ideas, and I can say holistically that you will take the idea, and although it may take a while, people think that you could just tell somebody an idea and then it happened tomorrow. That's not going to happen, and for multiple reasons, because a lot of these things people don't understand. CTE requires funding, and initially when CTE started, it was unfunded. It was a mandate from the state. However, it was an unfunded mandate, which means that we had to come up with the funding somehow. And so that's a little bit difficult when you don't have some funding for things that you want to happen in your city. So I just wanted to kind of educate folks out there that a lot of times those things that we want are mandated. It is required, but sometimes those things are not funded in the budget, the state budget. So they have to find a way to have collaborations. And sometimes, a lot of times people are excited to collaborate with us. And then when it comes down to actually doing it, they become ghosts. I'm just going to be real with y'all. And I've experienced that myself. People will tell me in the community, I want to work with y'all, I want to do this, but then when it comes to actually doing it, they don't want to follow through. So I want to commend you all for everything that you have done and what you continue to do.
And speaking of following through, I want to thank you and Ms. Thomas for being at all of our advisory meetings, and that award that we received is also a reflection of you two, and also for going out on that 100-degree day when we went to Isle of Wight. So,
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to add on to what Board Member Shoemake said, because not only is it a funding issue, it's also a personnel issue. The personnel that works with our CTE students and in these CTE programs not only are certified teachers, but they're certified career and tech teachers, which is a whole nother level that they have to go through at the State Department to be able to teach these courses. So for us to be able to find people to to teach and retain it. We all as teachers, we love our job. Now, some of us are going to say that we're in recovery for the summer, and that's okay. But at the heart of it, we come back because we know that what we do, and some days it may be for one kid, and some days it's for 100. But they do it because they love it and because they see a need for it and a passion for it. So to be able to get them and then retain them, to build that pathway, to build that track for these kids is phenomenal as well. So as Ms. Shoemake said, it's not just the funding piece, while that's a big piece of it, but it's also finding the right piece and the right puzzle for our students in order to get these off the ground as well. So I just want to say thank you and put it there as well.
And thank you for recognizing that. It is a struggle.
Dr. Cotton will be the last comment on this. We have a couple parents and the students waiting, so we'll go ahead and get one more comment.
As I was short before, I just wanted to say that also, if someone doesn't go in that career path, it helps them later. I save a lot of money, as well as family and friends do too, because of what I learned through building trade. All right.
We like to think of it as a backup plan, if nothing else, you know, sometimes.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank
Have
you,
a great
sir.
night. Thank you. Agenda item 7.2 is special recognition for students. Dr. Bracy, you gonna?
Yes, thank you, Chair. At this time, usually we have some special recognitions from our spring sports for athletes that have overachieved. And our citywide athletic director, Coach Pugh, is here tonight to share with us who these students are and what exactly they have done. Thank you.
Good evening, Board. Dr. Bracy, Chairman Patillo, Vice Chairman Atkinson. All right. So actually, this year we are here to recognize our student athletes from all seasons. So we typically, do a public presentation to our student athletes who reach the top. I mean, they're state champions. We've been fortunate since I've been here to have to come here every year. Obviously, COVID last year was different. Year before, we had to make some difficult decisions. But I'm also here on the eve of the 50th anniversary of Title IX, which eliminates discrimination on sex in sports, and it gave women a lot of opportunities to be able to participate on the same level and with the same funding as men in sports, in school, education settings that receive federal funds. So with that being said, it's going to be ladies first tonight. So I'd like to call up the track coach from Norcom, Ms. Lisa Carnes. All right, so the first young lady that we're going to talk about, while she's not here, they did have some family issues. Her dad is out of town, so the mom was going to bring her, but something happened today, so she's not here. But with that being said, I want to recognize Jamie A. J. Young. In recognition of her as state champion in the indoor VHSL Class 3 girls shot put with a throw of 37 feet, 9 inches during the 2021-22 academic session while enrolled as a junior at IC Norcom High School. All right? So, Janari, I want to ask this young man to come up, because some of you may know this, but he was like the associate AD at the school this year. Like, no, for real. Like, we're going to miss him. I mean, but he's only right through the tunnel in Norfolk, so maybe you'll come back and assist us like you did before. So I want to present this. I want him here because I'm going to let Ms. Lisa say some things about this young lady. So I want to present this to both of you guys on her behalf, right, for your hard work and dedication. And I do have a term for this young lady right here. It's called the GOAT. So give her a hand. I can't tell you how many state champions, how many times you've seen his face in front of this school board. And it's always the same thing. So congratulations. That's for Jamie. I want you to give some comments regarding this young lady.
Good evening, board. Yeah, it is evening. Jamie Young is an extraordinary student athlete. She's definitely one of the premier students. She's at a 4.0 currently at IC Norcom High School. She also was undefeated the whole entire season, from dual meets to invitationals to district championships, regional championships, and then the state championship. So she has been the true definition of what a student athlete is. She's also the daughter of the AD at IC Norcom High School, so it definitely helps, but she's doing a very good job of representing her family as well as the school and the city of Portsmouth.
Well, the next young man really needs no introduction. He's also not here, but he got surprised, I believe, from graduation with a car and a trip to Florida. Well, he got a trip, so yes. So, but this young man, he set some records, city records, regional records, state records, that probably won't be broke for a long time. So I'm gonna read his this year accomplishments. Certificate of Acknowledgement presented to Montrell D. Koval in recognition of him as state champion in the indoor track VHSL Class 3 boys long jump with a jump of 22 feet, 6.5 inches. Also, indoor track Class 3 boys triple jump with a jump of 47 feet, 2.25 inches. Also, outdoor state track champion in the long jump with a state record jump of 24 feet, 1.75 inches. Also, outdoor state champion triple jump, which is a state record, 50 feet, 1/2 inch. During the 2021-22 academic session, while enrolled as a senior at IC Norcom High School. His mom. Miss Lisa, I'd like to get his mom up here because she's going to receive this for him.
This is Miss Shawanda Koval. His dad is Monte Darden. And like I said, he was surprised. His birthday is in a couple of weeks with a trip to Florida for graduation, birthday, and a well-deserved rest from this season. Montrell Koval, I don't even know what to say. He's probably one of the best athletes I've ever coached in the 15 years that I've been coaching at IC Norcom High School. Since he's been here, he's actually, COVID kind of killed. He probably would have had the most state championships ever in the city of Portsmouth. Graduating, he has 5 state championships as an individual, which is a huge accomplishment. Like he said, he graduated last week or Saturday. I don't even know what else I could possibly say about him, but he is definitely, for me, the most talented athlete I've ever had. Last thing I want to say, since we're talking about money, with 5 titles, he has 0 rings. One of the motivating things that I've said is to make sure that my kids make sure that that's one of their motivating factors, that they get it. So thank you very much. Appreciate the support. Have a good evening.
50 feet.
Say something. Yeah. Say what he would say.
Hello again, and I'm just very proud of my son. Like right now, what's going on in the city is not a good feeling at all. But I thank Coach and everybody else, and I know he deserves everything. It's hard for these kids to make it right now. So at the end of the day, like Coach said, I want to see my baby with his ring too, and I'm very proud of him. He deserved it. He did it, and I just want to thank you guys for keep going with what you guys doing and everything. I see a lot of some of the board members and stuff at a lot of the track meets and stuff. I appreciate y'all for the funding that y'all do towards the traveling and all of that. I do make sure I'm that proud mom. I'm gonna be there. So with the rest of his life and all of that. So I just want to thank y'all, and especially Coach. It's kind of emotional because some kids do not get to make it. They do not get to make it, and I'm just proud of my baby. Thank you.
And I just want to, and I just want to verify, Coach Pugh, you said 50 feet in triple jump.
50 feet.
I can barely see 50 feet.
He's actually currently number 8 in the nation.
Oh wow! And
yes, and I forgot he is an All-American as well.
And I just want to say to the mom and other parents, we're not gonna have a long conversation on it. We'll make sure that they get their rings.
All right, I already confirmed.
All right.
All right, I want just let him make his comments and then we'll finish.
Okay.
He kind of traveled with the team and took pictures and tweeted, and so he really got to know those athletes. So.
On behalf of Coach John, the AD, I just want to say thank you for your support. Athletes, the coaches, Coach Lisa, she's really one of the strongest coaches we have at Norfolk. She, no matter what she's going through, she will be there. She's going to be there. If it's raining, she's going to be there. She's going to fuss at us for not being on time, but she's going to be there. And just thank you. Like parent support, administrators, teachers, Coach Pugh, just thank you for our support of students, because the more support we have, the more it pushes us to keep going and reach farther, reach the sky.
Thank you. Hold on.
Vice Chair Atkinson.
So I know we're gonna take care of rings, and I guess I want to ask, what was the initial delay? If this is not his first time winning the state championship, I'm wondering what was delay on getting him his rings, because I mean he from his accolades, this is not the first time we had a ring conversation. So I think I want to know further about what's going on with the rings and athletes not getting their rings. Yeah,
I'll say this. Well, 4 of them were this year. So.
And then the one was the year
right before
COVID. Right.
Yeah, the other one was with COVID when school was shut down. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to make sure that, athletes are not missing out on any opportunities because of our funding, especially for accomplishment like that. And where is he going to school at?
Okay.
He hasn't decided yet.
Okay.
The door was open with that 50 feet, so a lot of people have started coming and asking. So we're just still debating.
Okay. Tell him check out Louisiana Tech if he into track, Thank you.
Dr. Whitaker.
Thank you, Coach Carnes, and I know you are awesome. I know you coached 3 of mine, 2 of which got scholarships for track. But are there students from previous years that have not received rings? Because we need to know that as well.
I think I can answer that. The short answer is yes. And as of 2 years ago, we began purchasing them centrally. So what she's talking about was prior to that, because he won his sophomore year, and then he didn't compete his junior year. And then, so we'll take care of that.
Well,
and hopefully retroactive if we can get in touch with the students.
I guess we'll have to get with the superintendent if it's the pleasure of the board to request, the students who haven't received their rings. Yes, previously.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Anybody else? All right, thank you to this group. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
The next young man, he is from actually Manor High School. I met him when he was at Wilson, little short guy, and then 2 years later, he was this tall. So, certificate of acknowledgement, I would like to ask Coach Justin Davis and Jaime and whoever's with them to come forward. You can come too. Yes, yes. All right, this certificate of acknowledgement is presented to Jaime A. Mitchell in recognition of him as state champion in the indoor track VHSL Class 4 triple jump with a jump of 44 feet, 8 3/4 inches, 1/4 inch, sorry. during the 2021 academic session while enrolled as a senior in Mountain High School. All right, congratulations, Jaime. Now, his coach gonna have something to say about him. All right.
Good evening, Chairman Patillo, Vice Chair Atkinson, Dr. Bracy, Superintendent, all members of the board. My name is Coach Justin Davis. I am the head cross-country, indoor, and outdoor track and field coach. This is my first year as the head track and field coach. This would be year 7 for me as the coach. Jaime has been one of my athletes since I've started coaching. I started coaching him in 7th grade. He ran the 800 and the 1600 for me. He was a middle school champion. When he got to high school, he ran cross country, he ran track, he ran long distance. Jaime just started jumping last year, his junior year. So it actually was shortened. He didn't get a chance to actually have a full season. Even this year, Jaime was injured for the beginning of the season. So he came back from injury and he qualified for the state championship. And every day at practice, there was nothing I could say to him to make him better because he was just doing it himself. There was nothing I could tell him to make him better because he was going to do it himself. What he was doing, it was just straight determination and heart. It was nothing I could teach him because he had it inside him already. He was already a champion in his mind and he was going to win. When it came down to the actual state championship, Jaime was sitting in 2nd place. He had jumped 5 times. He still was sitting in 2nd place. On his very last jump, he was like, I'm going to win. He said, I want that ring. That's what he told me. He said, Coach Davis, pointed at his finger. I said, yeah, you're going to get it. And lo and behold, his very last jump, he outjumped everybody. He had previously broke the school record his junior year, his very first time actually doing the triple jump. So I'm just extremely proud of him. Just can't wait for the future, the things to come, because, I mean, he has so much untapped potential because he wants it so bad. So like I told him before, God bless him, because I look forward to just the greatness that he is going to provide, like for his family, for the city, just for himself. He just makes me so proud. And his mother is also here. She's been at just about every meet since he was in 7th grade. She would be in the stand. She wasn't loud, she wasn't yelling, but she was just there supportive, like every time. And I wish I had more parents like her. It's absolutely great. Thank you.
Would you like to say something to the board? Always. You always think of it.
I don't really got much to say. I just want to say thank you for the whatever this is, certificate. Thank you. I'm very thankful for it.
Jaime, where are you going to school? Or what's next? Should I ask that?
I recently decided today that I was going to go to school at Livingstone College for football and track.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
What I would like to see you do if you have the time is to come back and get with Coach and work with those that are coming up under you, because there are certain things that you can coach, but then there's other things that you give and that you share just by being there and listening to Coach talk about that intrinsic and that motivation that comes from inside. A lot of students need to see that in action. So you have made your mark, and then I think what it would be really cool for those that are under you is for you to come back and work with them and leave a legacy of your mark, not just a one-time thing, but how can you fill in for others where they may need that. So thank you for being you, and that is my challenge to you, is if you have the time when you're home on breaks and you need something to do, hit up Coach, because I'm sure he can find something for you to do. So, but congratulations. I'm like a chair. I don't know that I could see 44 feet, but beautiful. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir. All right, agenda item 8.1, student discipline, consideration of an expulsion, discipline case number 2021-2205. I entertain a motion at this time.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Hines, second by Mr. Tillage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Atkinson?
Yes.
Dr. Cotton?
Yes.
Mrs. Hines?
Yes.
Mrs. Shoemake?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Tillage?
Yes.
Dr. Whitaker?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
Dr. Patillo?
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Thank you so much. Agenda item 9.1 is monthly report, Superintendent Dr. Bracy.
Thank you, Chair Patillo, Vice Chair Atkinson, members of the board. It's bittersweet to be speaking at the last meeting of the school year. You know, as I've shared in my email to staff last Friday, this year has been like none other before. I'm telling you, with the challenges that we've seen with COVID-19, as well as the increase in devastating violence, both here locally and across the country. However, our community came together to meet those challenges head on. I want to thank our incredible staff, teachers, bus drivers, administrators, support staff, and substitutes who gave up and continue to work tirelessly throughout the year in order to best serve our students. Also, I want to thank our students and families who also showed their perseverance and work alongside our school's day in and out to support their educational journeys as best as possible. Finally, I want to say thank you to our board for their leadership during these times and for providing clear guidance and support for our community. We know it was not easy, but we made it through it together, and we achieved great things along the way. In fact, this past Saturday, we had the honor of celebrating the graduates of our class of 2022. It was a wonderful day. As Vice Chair Atkinson had mentioned, you know, I think Janari stole the show. You know, you could see the joy and a little relief on some of our graduates' faces and pride beaming from all of their families and friends in attendance. And many thanks to Dr. Cromartie and our high school principals for their work in providing a fantastic day for all attendees. If you have not already, please make sure you go to our division Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts to see the photos and videos from that day. You can also search by using the hashtag caps and gowns, and that's caps spelled CAPPS to spell caps. Of course, the full graduation ceremonies are on the division's YouTube channel and streaming on the Portsmouth Schools Educational Television, which is Cox Channel 47 and Verizon Channel 40. Finally, just because summer is here doesn't mean that learning stops. We have a host of free STEM summer camps for our students that are available throughout June and July. We also have some students that will be attending summer school this summer. In addition, the Portsmouth Department of Parks and Recs is once again sponsoring the USDA Summer Food Service Program, which means meals will be provided to all children without charge. For a list of locations and dates for both summer camps and the summer food service programs, it's available on our ppsk12.us website. Thank you again, Chairman Patillo. This completes my report.
Thank you, sir. And I'm going to ask at this moment if our vice chair could take us into closed meeting. We have one quick item to go over, and then we'll come back out to dismiss. Dr. Bracy has given permission for staff to be dismissed while we take care of this closed session item and come back out.
I move that the board enter into a closed meeting under the provisions of Section 2.2-3711 of the Code of Virginia for the following purpose: consideration of various personnel matters, including the assignment, performance, and resignation of specific school employees as permitted under subsection A.1.
Motion's been made. And second by Ms. Hines. Any discussion? Roll call vote, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Atkinson?
Yes.
Dr. Cotton?
Yes.
Mrs. Hines?
Yes.
Mrs. Shoemake?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Tillage?
Yes.
Dr. Whitaker? Yes.
Mrs. Williams?
Yes. Dr. Patillo?
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Thank you. We're now in closed meeting.
Certify that to the best of his or her knowledge, only matters which are lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements and which were identified in the motion to go into closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered during the preceding closed meeting.
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chair Atkinson, second by Ms. Hines. Any discussion? Oh, Madam Clerk still here, okay. Madam Clerk.
Ms. Atkinson?
Yes.
Dr. Cotton?
Yes.
Mrs. Hines?
Yes.
Mrs. Shoemake?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Tillage?
Yes.
Dr. Whitaker? Yes. Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
Dr. Patillo?
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Thank you so much. I want to thank you all for attending the meeting on this evening. And thank you all for your support of Portsmouth Public Schools, and I consider this meeting adjourned.